Hi guys, I think this is probably update 12. As you can see, we managed to rip the hallway floor up and replace it. All the radiators are now connected and all the pipework's run down the hallway, right down the end. The pipe then swings under here, so you can see the feed and return coming through here. Something to remember is that this pipe is so flexible that you really don't need to use 90-degree elbows. I think I bought a bag or two and I don't think I've used more than one or two at the moment. It has then swept around into the bay window area and goes up to that radiator there. This really was a genius design when they built this back in the 20s. See where the joist sat, there's one in there, and then you can see them into the wall. But they've actually put the joist in and then bricked it in. So you've got a little chance of getting a new one into there without some major issues. We're yet to do that. Finances have stopped us worrying about this room too much. As long as the heat is in, we'll worry about getting the floor back down. You can see the big hole at the bottom there in the middle. That is out to the air brick out in the front of the house. We've got a matching one down there. That's all very well, but unfortunately some idiot decided to tarmac the driveway, and the tarmac is actually above the air brick level. Now I've of course dug all that out and made sure that the rain and water can't get down into there, but people just don't think, do they? You don't have air bricks and then tarmac above them so the water can flow into the room. It's just stupid. Just in that bay area there was quite a hole. There was probably about a foot deeper than the rest of the floor, so we've just filled that with rubble. We've then put a membrane down because it's just bare soil, obviously. We have had a lot of damp problems in this room and the hallway and the other room where the boiler's going. All sorted now because again the idiots had blocked the air bricks down the side here. I've knocked out the old sort of cast concrete air bricks or whatever they were made of and fitted more modern plastic ones. There's a lot more airflow, and as you can see there are no issues with the dry rot that we had. It really is horrible stuff. It's like fungus with strands going everywhere, and it just, water drips off of it. It excretes water. You think you've got a leaky pipe, but it's just the fungus producing the water. It's quite horrible. That's all going to be brushed down and cleaned, and then I'll just unibond the walls just to keep the dust at a minimum. The pipe then runs through into there, up to this radiator. I'll show you a little tip we used in a minute that saved us a hell of a lot of time. But that pipe, the two pipes there are going through underneath the bottom of the stairs and then into the room where the boiler is situated. A couple of tips with this plastic pipe. If you watch the other video where the guy that installed this blue mains pipe for us managed to drag it through brickwork and scratch it all up so it leaked, I actually had to replace a small section to the stopcock because of that damage. The white pipe, or grey as we had to buy from Wickes when I ran a bit short, that also is very easy to scratch, so don't be dragging it over brickwork and things like that without protecting it, because it will leak if the scratches are too deep. It's only an O-ring sealing it. Right, so if we have a wander into the other room, this is the room where the boiler will be, up on that wall there, and that pipe work coming through the wall in the other room we were just in is actually coming through just down here. So this is the bottom of the stairs, and then we've got a step. So what we did, we just cut out a small section of the flooring there to give us access, because there's two brick walls. There's the one that you just saw, and there's another one just about here. So we had to feed the pipe, lift it up a little bit and feed it through. And then it's come along into this radiator, and I'll talk about that tip in a minute because it applied to this radiator. And then pretty much we've terminated everything down here. We have from through that wall, let me show you, beyond that wall we've got the hallway, and all the pipe work, the mains coming in, ends up in that downstairs loo. There's a small radiator in there as well, so we've had to run a hot water pipe from the sink across. We've teed off the mains water under here, and that goes into that room to the right, and obviously the feed and return is in there as well, but that runs down the hallway. So we managed to push the pipe through into this room, and I managed to grab the end, and it's just terminated at the moment with a an end cap on a bit of copper. The flow and return pipes are just down there, and they're actually under the joist, you can't see them. And that white one is the hot water to that downstairs loo sink, which only ever had a cold feed before. Now the tip that saved us, well, probably hours actually, because this room was boarded some years ago because of the rot when we changed the floor. It's been plastered up and over the board all round, and of course we finished in this corner, so it's quite easy to pull up the two boards that were in this corner, and we've actually cut out a small section here just so I could get under and grab the pipes a little more easily. But what we did, because it was going to be a nightmare to get to the T's that we needed to fit for this radiator without ripping the whole floor up, and that really would have been a horrible job. What I did was we went and bought straight sections rather than use the coiled section that we had, because if we'd fed coiled through there, it just would have looped off and gone, well, who knows where in the room. So we bought 15mm straight sections in 3 meters from Wicks. We could only get grey, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter, it's going to be painted. So we coupled 2 3 meters together in that other room we were just in, and then we fed the pipe work through and pushed it all the way under until it came to here, and we stopped there, and then we measured from there right the way back to there, and then the other pipe we measured from this end right up to where that pipe is now coming through, just there. And what that allowed us to do was we pulled the pipe work out of that hole up and right up to the ceiling, and when we measured from the end of the pipe to that distance, that as we pulled it out, we could then cut the pipe here and fit the T-piece for that first pipe, and then we pushed the second pipe through, and we took the distance from there to there, pulled the pipe out to that distance, cut it and fitted the T's. What we then did was drill a hole through the floor there and there, and we fed the long straight pipes that we had here, the 15mm ones, and we put a slight bend in them, just kinked it slightly, and as we pushed them down, the pipe went down and turned and was pushed out to this hole. Now, because this pipe's so flexible, you can actually bend it around a bit, and we managed to push the 15mm pipe into the T that we'd connected to the 22. Now that allowed us, with a bit of help, me pushing the pipe that way and then somebody pulling on this one, we managed to pull the pipe back and up. We then did the same with the other one. We pushed it back, pulled this one up, and the pipe just went straight back into the other room, terminated correctly at the right distance here, and we had the 15mm coming through the floor, and we hadn't had to touch anything. We didn't have to have the floor up or anything at all. So that, there are some really big advantages in using plastic. I'm sure the plumbers out there that might watch this will say that it was a complete bodge, but it worked perfectly, and the pipe's all in, and we've disturbed nothing at all apart from the corner, which we would have had to have done anyway. And now we can fit the boiler up on here, and do all the pipe work in this area. Obviously upstairs we'll go through the loft, and that's it. So I thought that was a really useful tip, if you can, to feed the pipes along, put the joints in, feed the 15mm pipes through, connect them to the T's, which will be in there, and then just pull the lot back. Worked perfectly for us. So yeah, that's it. I'm just going to have a tidy up in all the rooms, and then we'll start getting the boiler. It's not focused. We'll get the boiler mounts onto this wall and then start connecting pipework. I have just ordered a radiator pressure tester because I want to make sure there's no leaks before we start putting the rest of the floors down and things like that. We don't want to fire it all up and find we've got a dozen leaks. That'll be a right pain. So I'm going to pressure test it with the proper gear. Hopefully that will arrive during the week. It's only about £78, something like that, and I expect I'll use it once and then pop it back on eBay, but I think it's going to save a lot of time long term. I don't want to be crawling around looking for leaks if there aren't any. So yeah, that's it. Just a quick update on where we are, and there'll be more later. Catch you later.